Hello, it is Tamara. It is Monday. It is noon-ish, and I am here. So, what I wanted to talk about today is hormones because when they are messed up, it's not really fun. And so, if you can help to support your hormones to be in, optimal levels, then that's a really good thing. I hope you guys had a great weekend. We had a good time. We had some family come visit on Saturday. And then my dad's 86th birthday was on Friday, and so I took the kids and grandkids, and we went down to visit him on Sunday, and that was really fun. That was kind of a surprise. He thought it was just going to be myself and my husband, and we surprised him. So it worked out really well. So let me share my screen because I have, some really cool graphics for you. I think they're cool anyway. And then I'm going to disappear because you don't need to look at me. So, like I said, today we're going to talk about hormones and how you can really kind of naturally support yourself and get back um, to feeling as you should, right? Like like how you once felt without being like not in control of everything. Okay. So, hormones in your life then. Um, let's talk about what a hormone actually is. So hormones, as you know, they kind of run your life, okay? And learning about what they do and how they can influence your physiology or behavior, your mood, that can be a really powerful tool to help you balance them naturally. So what hormones are basically chemical messengers, and they are what tells the body what to do, basically. Okay. So it's like one part of the body sends another part of the body an email or a text message in the form of a chemical messenger or hormone, right? Even when the body's trying to tell like the ovary to produce estrogen, it does that by way of another hormone. So it's really kind of important to understand what they are and how they work. They have great power and influence to create chaos or to create harmony in your body. Okay. And so we want to make sure that we are the people that have the balance and the harmony because it's not fun to have the chaos. Okay. Even if one hormone is out of balance, what it does is it creates this cascade of issues that throw other hormones also out of balance. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that and how to help yourself with that. Okay. But let's talk a little bit about how hormones are actually measured. You measure hormones in nanograms or in picograms. And to give you an understanding as to how small those really are, right? They're really tiny and they have a big influence over your body. It's like if you took one pinch of salt and threw it over 10,000 gallons of potato chips, that is a nanogram. That would not be enough salt for me on potato chips, by the way. Side note, a picogram is a thousand times smaller than that. But when you give someone hormones, basically they're usually given in milligrams, right? Which is a much larger dose. And so understanding that the hormones themselves are little teeny tiny things with great big power is just one step in understanding how your body works with them. All right. So, excuse me. The endocrine system. All right. Like I said before, it's pretty much about girls today, so that's what we're going to discuss. So the female endocrine system, um, as you can see in that diagram, it's represented by several organs that have to work synergistically together. Okay, so now whether you recognize it or not, the brain is very much a part of that. It is not a gland, but it does send those chemical messages to the glands and the organs that then perform that duty or that job. And your brain will send out a chemical messenger to different things in your body. So we're going to kind of go through them. Things like your thyroid, which sits inside the front of your neck, or your mammary tissue is influenced by your endocrine system. Your thymus gland, which is actually your master gland for immunity, that sits behind your heart. And also your adrenal glands are super important. And those are little teeny glands that are about the size of a large walnut that sit on top of your kidneys. Your pancreas is influenced as well. And then in females, because that's what we're talking about today, your ovaries are a big part of your endocrine system. And so together, they should really all work well, kind of like one big happy family. And unfortunately, that can be a not big happy, big happy family, right? Okay. So The endocrine system can up or down regulate itself. And what that means is that when one hormone is affected, they're all affected. So, what happens is when the body is producing hormones and sending chemical messages, if it doesn't get the message or it doesn't do its job, then the whole system will go up or down, regulate itself. Okay. It's like how the body attempts to keep itself in balance. A good example of this is in the brain. There are two things called your hypothalamus and your pituitary gland, and they're kind of like a family. They are like the parents and they talk to each other and then they tell the children what to do. Now, who are the children? The children are your thyroid, your adrenals, and your ovaries, all the endocrine organs and glands that we've just described. So, let's say we're going to tell the adrenals to do their job. And so the hypothalamus and the pituitary talk, they send a chemical messenger called ACTH, which is a hormone, to the adrenals and they say, hey, turn on, start kicking out cortisol. And so it should kick out cortisol when it's appropriately functioning. If it doesn't appropriately function, it doesn't send that message back like, hey, I got the message, I'm doing my job. And so when the parents think, oh, they didn't get the message, um, so then it gets, you know, like when a parent doesn't get the message, right? What do they do? What do you do when your child doesn't listen? Do you start yelling? Do you get a little louder? Do you get a little frustrated, right? And so your body starts talking louder. And what that means in hormones is that we send out more of that chemical messenger to try to get the point across to that gland or organ. Okay. So let's use the thyroid for an example and the adrenals. We're talking and we're talking loudly at the child, and they should respond. And if they do, then everybody calms back down. But if they don't, then what happens is we continue to get louder. And so when people have their thyroid gland checked, we usually will run, they usually run a test that's called the thyroid stimulating hormone. And what that is in someone with a low acting thyroid, that will be high, that level will be high. And so that's the parent yelling, hey, do your job. And so when it doesn't do that job, then it will get even louder. But over time, as parents, if the child doesn't respond, what happens? We kind of, I don't know, I think we back off a little bit because we're tired of being loud. And so then you have the down regulation of the endocrine system, and you have more problems as a result of that. And there are symptoms that go along with that. So together, they have to work synergistically. And when they don't, that's kind of what brings the chaos about, unfortunately. All right. So, what are we talking about when we say wrecking balls? When we get this, what happens and where does it come from? Okay. So, what actually affects the endocrine system and puts us into hormonal chaos? Um, you need to understand that so that you have an understanding, right? Okay. So, most of the time, we're going to be talking about things called xenoestrogens, and those are exogenous or they are outside the body's estrogens. Okay. So, they come from different places. Many of them you may know about, but some of them may be even surprising to you. One of the most important things to understand is that many things environmentally look just like estrogen to your body. And when your body is exposed to them, they will then get used just like they would use estrogen. So the most common place that we see those xenoestrogens is in pesticides. They look very estrogenic. They act very estrogenic. They're also in commercial dairy and found in a lot of cleaning products. So you're going to find those in your basic household cleaners. When you use commercialized cleaners, then we start seeing a lot of problems that are related to those. Those are really endocrine disruptors, which I'm sure is not a new term to you. Your body care products can have ingredients in them that will act very estrogenic or will disrupt our hormones or their pathways. Our cosmetics, unfortunately, are very, very potent endocrine disruptors, especially in skincare products. There's no law that requires labeling of hormone that is put into skincare products. And the skin responds very well to hormones. And so you can put that in as an ingredient and not be required to label it. But when you give, again, that exogenous, that artificial hormone into the body, then it will throw everything into imbalance and give you all kinds of stress and problems. Another place you're going to see those unopposed estrogen, and that is a phytoestrogen, is in soy. Soy is largely used in the Western diet. You're going to find it in vegetable oil, soybean oil. You're going to find it in different food products itself, tofu, edamame. Those are both estrogenic. If you ferment the soy, you get rid of the estrogenic activity, but soy is also a dampener to the thyroid gland. Stress is a big one. Um, that's not a hormone disruptor, but it will create a lot of chaos in your life. So appropriately managing your stress is super important. Trans fats and cell membranes, that's a whole concept that you could teach an entire class on. Uh, but I think it's important to know that we make our cell membranes. Our cell membranes are made up of two fat layers called a lipid bilayer. It's important to know that we don't make our own fat. We get it from what we eat. So if you eat crappy fats, you're going to get crappy cell membranes. And then you'll have defective receptor sites. So it has a lot to do with how the body utilizes the hormones that we have, even our own. Okay. You want to try to eliminate trans fats and eat good and healthy fats. Um, the saying, you are what you eat, right? Poor sleep quality can very much affect your hormones as well as poor diet, which is not a new concept by any means. But you want to make sure that you're eating a nutrient-rich, nutrient-dense, natural, and unprocessed diet. Okay. Fragrance in perfumes and colognes, right? And even fragrances that we find in our body care products, including soaps and candles and things like that. Um, Even in your laundry detergent, they can have phthalates in it, which unfortunately are very potent and aggressive endocrine disruptors. They can really wreck your hormonal system. Cholesterol lowering medications can very much affect our endocrine system as a whole because all hormones start as cholesterol, which was something new when I was when I was doing that. I did not know that. So there's something new. Now, what consequences then? Um, what are the consequences of hormonal disruption? Now that you know where to get it, you can start to minimize the consequences, right? You can start to minimize your hormonal disruptions. But what do you do about the consequences of hormonal imbalances in your body? None of them are desired. We really don't want them. And many times they are categorized or labeled by healthcare professionals or even the public eye, sorry, as some kind of other disease process instead of identifying really what it is. One of the most common things we see is a condition called estrogen dominance. And that's where we have the body produces too much estrogen, right? Okay. So a female should have about a 4-to-3 ratio of estrogen to progesterone. And when you get too much estrogenic things in your body, especially if it's from exogenous forms, it's going to elevate that. And there's going to be a disparity in that ratio where we have too much estrogen and not enough progesterone. And many of those processes happen in the gap where we have the disruption in the normal ratio of what it should really be. That can cause the condition called estrogen dominance, and it can really kind of create a mess on your body. Estrogen dominance can do everything from give you really, really rough and hard periods to no period at all. It can help, not help, but it can be a cause of fibrocystic breasts, polycystic ovary disease. Infertility is a big one, early menopause. Women are going through menopause earlier and earlier. And also in girls, young girls, we're seeing that the onset of menstruation happens younger and younger. It can affect your adrenal health, can slow our thyroid down. And so then, when you're in hormonal chaos, you don't really know where to start. And it's really rough when you have something like that and you're just like, I want some help, but I don't even know where to begin. And so the typical medical solutions for these kinds of things, if you are, if you went to go seek out care, which you want to, right? Because you want to figure out what's going on. Many times the solution that is offered is something that drives the physiologic process even further. A lot of times birth control pills can make you immediately estrogen dominant because it keeps us hyperphysiologic estrogen wise. It also tells our pituitary gland to shut up so that the body doesn't get pregnant, but it also keeps us in a hyperphysiologic state. And while that may help with symptoms temporarily, it rarely provides that long-term solution that you're looking for. The pellets are another one. That's very commonly used where the hormone is then in a pellet that's inserted into the dermal layer of the body and gives a slow release of hormones into your body. The problem with that, again, is it's an exogenous hormone. It's not your own. There was nothing done to fix why you have a hormonal problem. And then, secondly, if it's not the right dose for you, like it was surgically implanted, right? So you're stuck with that dose for an extended period. Antidepressants are another commonly used treatment form where you know you're feeling down and sad, you feel bad. And the answer, instead of looking into why you have that problem, you get placed on an antidepressant. Many females can opt for ablation, where they basically go in and scar the uterine lining so that you don't have a cycle. However, that still doesn't get rid of why you have the problem in the first place. Infertility, there's a lot of in vitro fertilization going on because we don't correct why we can't get pregnant. And then most commonly is hysterectomy. Every part of your body has a purpose and every part is needed, even beyond childbirth. And removing your uterus and ovaries with a hysterectomy doesn't necessarily mean that you got rid of the problem. It can just momentarily get rid of your symptoms. Okay. So what are some strategies? What can we help to do about this? You don't want to live in chaos, right? You want to try to bring your body into balance, and you can naturally do that. So let's talk about some natural strategies that can really make a difference in how your hormones, work for you, so to speak. The first thing is detoxification, and foundational health. That's a big one we always talk about with doTERRA, right? Is foundational health. You can't get anywhere if you don't have that foundational health. Just kind of like building a house and sinking sand, it won't last for long. You can't ask the body to do things it doesn't have the equipment to do. You want to make sure that you give the body everything that it needs on a daily basis to perform basic cellular functions. And when you have dis-ease, many times, especially in the hormonal system, many times it's because we don't we don't give the body what it needs to convert hormones into what they need to be. So make sure that you have that good foundational health with the Lifelong Vitality Pack. That is just super, super important because once you have that foundational health, you can help to build things on it, right? You can help to fix things on it. As we age, it's another one, we lose our ability to digest appropriately. And so we can build a toxic load or just don't absorb our nutrients, unfortunately. Taking something like Terrazyme, those are the digestive enzymes that doTERRA has. That's a really good supplement to add to anyone's regimen. You want to make sure foundationally that you are intact, and then you can start by decreasing your hormonal burden, that overall toxic load. You want to clean up the body, make sure the liver is doing its job. We're going to talk about the liver in just a sec, a little bit more in depth. You want to make sure that your liver is doing its job to help balance our hormones and that the endocrine system itself is clean and efficient. It's running optimally, right? So doing a cleanse and restore doing a cleanse and restore is very, very good. It's a great solid way to really get yourself started on that health journey. There is a kit that's put together that's just right that's what's pictured in here. That has all the products in it. Okay, you're going to use your Zendocrine, and that's going to help to support those detoxification pathways. And then it helps the body to have everything that it needs to make sure that it's running efficiently. You're going to work on gut health, make sure that the liver and the gut are moving appropriately, getting hormones in and out of the body like they should. And the PB Restorer is really going to help to shore up that gut health and make sure that the gut lining is appropriate and physiologically robust so that it can do what it needs to do. Okay, so that's like the first step right there. Once you get kind of your foundation handled, then you can kind of move on and deal with the hormones themselves. Okay. So estrogens come in and out of your body, the ones that you make, the ones that you're exposed to. And the way that we get rid of all hormones, especially estrogen, is by a process called methylation. It's a phase 2 liver clearance, and it's a process that happens in the liver. So you want to make sure that the physiologic process is happening. In order for it to happen, there have to be three things in place. Dietarily, uh, you should get those, okay, but we don't always get those. The first thing is that you want to have something called butyric acids. You're going to find that commonly in fermented foods like sauerkraut. That would be an easy place to find it. A lot of people don't care for sauerkraut. Um, Another one is you can find that butyric acid in butter. Butter is really a superfood, and you should have some every day. You can also get it in ghee, which is clarified butter, and that's what I use because I seem to have problems with dairy, and so I use ghee in place of butter. Um, that's part of the combination that has to be present for that physiologic process to take place. The other two substances that have to be present are indole 3 carbinol and isothiocyanate. Okay. And those two substances are abundantly found in greens. Okay. Specifically cruciferous. And you need to make sure that you have those. There have been a couple of big studies that were done in places like the Netherlands and in Sweden, and they found that women that consume significant quantities of cruciferous vegetables, they help to cut their breast cancer risk dramatically. Okay. What they found is it increased their methylation pathway and that they were methylating new hormones so that they did not have estrogenic tumors. So it's a really good practice to put in your diet for many reasons. doTERRA has a great product. It has the greens product. You can also get it in the new VMG Plus that already has that has like your lifelong vitality in there, right? And your greens all together. So boom, it's in one project or one product. Um, it's super, super important that you get those in. Okay. You also need to eat some butter, some greens every day. You can have pineapple is also really good, okay? But it's just a really good idea to make sure that you are getting enough of your greens and that you're having that methylation process go on, okay? So making sure that your methylation is working, then you need to support whatever's going on that's left, right? Okay. So some strategies and some specific things that maybe you're struggling with and that you need help with is kind of what we're going to talk about next. We're going to come back to that foundational health. And this is your lifelong vitality here, right? If you do the VMG, you are getting the Microplex VMZ in it, and you're getting the Alpha CRS in that VMG powder, right? You're also getting your greens. And then they have the new E Omega Plus, right? That's the bigger ones. These will get the Xe Omega is getting phased out. I think it's as soon as it's gone, and they'll replace it with the other. But this is really where you need to start. Okay. Um, all of those things that your body needs to do on a daily basis, if you can help it with your diet, that's like the easiest thing that you can do. Okay. So you want to make sure that your body what it requires. Um, you're going to use that doTERRA Lifelong Vitality Pack or your VMG Plus, and just really make sure it's getting those nutrients that they need. Okay. Synthetic supplements do not work with your body. Your body knows they're synthetic, doesn't quite know what to do with them. They're isolates, and the body does not absorb anything in an isolate. The liver kind of looks at it and says, I have no idea what that is, and dumps it into your kidney. Okay. So the whole food concept is really what the lifelong vitality is based on, right? They're whole foods. Your body knows what it is. It knows what to do with it, which in turn kind of brings about that phrase, it's bioavailable, meaning that your body knows what to do with it. Okay. In the Microplex VMZ, it's a vitamin and mineral complex to keep your body in its working order with all those foundational macros and micros. The Xe Omega, which is going to be the E Omega Plus, right? That has the combination of omegas with 3, 6, and 9 and a cellular oil blend, which is super important for your brain health, your joints, and your emotional well-being. Okay. The Alpha CRS is an antioxidant blend. It helps the cells to detox and to be very robust in their activity, because it has to do with mitochondrial health. It also helps to reduce inflammation, and it gives you energy because it's loaded with antioxidants. And so that's a really good place to start with your foundational health, is that lifelong vitality. Okay. If we want to talk about some basic hormonal support, maybe you're thinking, okay, I don't really feel that bad. Okay, you just need some basic support to keep yourself in balance. Um, I still want you to think about the lifelong vitality, because again, it's going to give you that foundation that everything else can build off of. Okay. Um, with that, then you can add your Yaropalm capsules. Okay. It's really good for your skin, but it's even better for your hormones. You can use the capsules, or you can use the Yaropalm oil. You can take that also internally. Okay. The capsules have some additional ingredients that are really good for you. Women have actually reported losing some weight while on taking the capsules. And it's a very good hormone balancer. It really does help in that regard. Clarycalm is another one. That's our basic hormonal blend. It is a monthly blend for women, but it's great for women that are beyond cycling. It really does help your body to move in the right direction. It has a component called Vitex in it, and Vitex helps to naturally encourage normal progesterone production. So it helps with everything from, hot flashes to cramps, and it's a really good support to use. And where you would use that is you would roll that on your lower abdomen, and on the inside of your ankles is a good spot. Okay. Remember that the roller of Clarycalm is a all essential oil roller. There's no dilution to it. And so my recommendation for that is that you um, open when you get it, open it up and put it in between a couple different roller bottles. Spread it out so you've got the same amount in each roller bottle, like two or three, and then fill them with fractionated coconut oil. Um, that's my recommendation on that. Okay, so the next thing then is that maybe you're not maybe you're a little worse, right? You feel like you've got a little more things going on. You might feel like, yeah, maybe I'm in complete disarray and you need some help. Okay. So there's some things you can do to help calm your chaos. And the first that you're going to do is use frankincense and sandalwood on your brainstem twice a day. You put it basically right on the back of your neck at the bottom of your skull. You can also put ylang ylang over your heart. You can also take ylang ylang internally, and then you're going to make a roller ball. And the roller ball has 30 drops each of Balance, Citrus Bliss, Rose, and Sandalwood. And what you want to do is apply that over your pulse points, which are at the bottom of your ears, your wrists, the back of your knees, or your ankles, or on the bottom of your feet. Okay. You can do that multiple times a day to help really try to get your body to start to get into balance. In addition to that first basic protocol with the frankincense and the sandalwood. Okay. So what if you're saying, I don't want to do that. That's just not my thing, right? Um, my metabolism is shut down. The older I get, the slower it goes. I can't lose weight. I seem to have, the menopause weight in your lower abdomen. Okay. So you know that doTERRA is all about metabolic health. We have a really good program called MetaPower, which helps to balance your glucose levels and balance your overall metabolic health, supporting it to function optimally. There's been some really great results that people have had helping their metabolism get back in gear and working, where their bodies can actually go about the business of getting itself back to a normal, manageable weight and just functioning properly. Okay. And again, that could be a whole class within itself. Many women with hormonal dysfunction struggle with things like feeling sad and feeling down, and can have some anxiety. Supporting your body through those specific symptoms is super important. Okay. And there's a really great line of oils and a supplement that you can use specifically for that. I gotta get a bottle. Hang on just one sec. Had to put a bottle in the warmer for my grandson. So, and that whole system is called adaptive. Okay. That's what it was made for. It has a pre-made roller ball for you, so you can use that on your pulse points and over your heart. The oil itself is a 15 ml bottle. You could diffuse that. You can also put it on your pulse points, the bottom of your feet. And then the supplement has a lot of things that really do support brain physiology and neurochemical transfers. And you can take one in the morning and one at night, or one in the morning or one at night, right? It's kind of a, you have to figure out which way your body responds the best. But um, that's a really good system to know about. Okay. Sorry, I lost my spot. Right. This is a good one. This One Hot Mama. If you struggle with feeling really, really warm all of a sudden, right? Okay. And you need a help for balance, this is a great roller bottle blend for that. Normally you can just use Claricom, but sometimes you can use Claricom and add Whisper, which is also the women's blend, and then peppermint, and that can be really super cooling. Roll it in on the back of your neck, and you can roll it over your heart. Um, Whisper is one of my favorite, like to use for perfume. But in this instance, it could be really good to use um, in this rollerball blend, okay, for the same thing. This is another one that can help, okay? So maybe you struggle here. This can be a really serious issue for a lot of women, and you want to have the appropriate reaction and feel like yourself and feel womanly, right? For want of a better word. This is a really great blend that you can use. So you use your ylang ylang, your neroli, sandalwood, rose, jasmine, and passion, and you top it off with fractionated coconut oil. And then you can roll this on your pulse points, or you can use it um, in between your thighs, lower abdomen, that kind of thing. Okay. So then the next thing is, I put together a couple of bundles for you, for want of a thing, a better word. The prices may or may not be correct because I know they may have changed things since I did this. I think they're pretty close. Um, but this is a really good place to start. Um, it's really important to understand that once you know what's going on, you've got to start the process of undoing why you have what you have. Okay. And so if you can give the body what it needs, it will fix itself. That's what it's always trying to do, is fixing itself. It wants to be in that homeostasis, right? It wants everything to work correctly. And so by starting with this bundle, it's a really good place to start. Um, if you have an account, just put all those things in your cart and you're good to go, right? Um, if you don't have an account, reach out to the person who invited you to this group, or who you're working with, and they can help you get a free account and free shipping. So um, this has the Lifelong Vitality, the Yarrow Palm capsules, the ylang ylang and peppermint for cooling, Claricom to help balance those hormones. Okay, and so you can grab that. These are kind of some additional or optional add-ons. We've got your Mito 2 Max in there. Didn't really talk too much about that, but that's a really good one for people that struggle with fatigue. That has your neroli, your whisper, your jasmine. Jasmine's a great one for your hormones also. The greens, and the adaptive bundle in there. You can buy them as a bundle. You can also buy them, one or the other, or, you know, one at a time kind of thing. You don't have to buy them all at the same time. Okay, so If you don't have your own account, you haven't been working with anyone, this is what you're going to, this is what you can expect when you get started. Okay. And that is supporting you in every way. Okay. Once you get your VIP account, you will get your products. You're going to have a free welcome call. We go over what you have, how you use that to its best benefit. We'll show you how to use your account and get the best bang for your buck out of that. You get a welcome gift and some samples. We can show you the benefits of other products that doTERRA has. You will have access to all of our education, all of our classes. We do a lot of those online, most of those online, I will say. And then we have a place like this, right, where you can go and watch classes in your jammies if you want. You're going to be part of an incredible community of like-minded folks, really trying to be their healthiest naturally. Okay. And then there's a lot of ongoing support that will be available to you. I hope that this answered some of your questions about, not questions necessarily, but helped you think of some things that you could do to help yourself to balance your hormones. If you have any questions, obviously put them in the comments and we can help you get your answers. Yeah, so that's what I want to talk about. Hormones can just really throw everything into, right? So it's nice to have them balanced. It's amazing how just little tweaks in what you're doing sometimes can make all the benefit, all the difference in what's going on. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a big thing. Sometimes it could just be one little thing that maybe you need to do a little different or add a little something in, right? So it's just nice to have all those options. Okay. That's what I got for you today. I hope you have a great rest of your day today. And as always, if you have any questions or there's something you want to know more about, please pop that in the comments and I'll be back next week. All right. Bye.